The morning sun painted London's ancient streets in golden hues, as thousands of people lined the roads leading to Westminster Abbey. Camera crews from around the world positioned themselves at every corner, their lenses pointed toward the historic route that would soon witness one of the most significant royal processions in decades. The air buzzed with excitement and anticipation as spectators clutched their Union Jack flags, many having camped overnight to secure the perfect viewing spot. Inside Kensington Palace, the Prince and Princess of Wales were experiencing their own mixture of excitement and nervous energy. William stood before an ornate mirror, adjusting his ceremonial military uniform with practiced precision. The deep blue fabric adorned with golden braiding and numerous medals caught the morning light streaming through the tall windows. Each decoration told a story of service, duty, and honor that had been passed down through generations of his family. Kate moved gracefully around their private quarters, her morning routine slightly different from usual due to the magnitude of the day ahead. Her stylist had arrived early to ensure every detail of her appearance would be perfect for the cameras and the millions of viewers who would be watching from around the globe. The dress she would wear had been designed specifically for this occasion, incorporating subtle nods to British heritage while maintaining the elegance and sophistication she had become known for. The children's voices could be heard echoing through the hallways as their nannies helped them prepare for what would undoubtedly be one of the most memorable days of their young lives. Prince George, now old enough to understand the historical significance of the event, had spent the previous evening asking his father detailed questions about the ceremony and what role each member of the royal family would play in the proceedings. Princess Charlotte had been particularly excited about her outfit, which had been carefully selected to complement her mother's ensemble while allowing her personality to shine through. The young princess had developed a keen interest in fashion and had been involved in some of the decision-making process regarding her accessories and hairstyle for the special day. Prince Louis, being the youngest, was still learning about the importance of such formal occasions, but seemed to sense the excitement radiating from everyone around him. His natural curiosity and playful nature would need to be gently managed throughout the long ceremony. But his parents were confident in their ability to help him navigate the experience successfully. Security teams had been working around the clock for weeks leading up to this day, coordinating every possible detail to ensure the safety of the royal family and all attendees. The route from Kensington Palace to Westminster Abbey had been thoroughly inspected multiple times, with every building along the way checked and cleared. Specialized vehicles equipped with the latest technology would form part of the procession, blending seamlessly with the more traditional elements of the royal convoy. As the family gathered for a quick breakfast together, the atmosphere was both festive and solemn. They understood that they were about to participate in a ceremony steeped in centuries of tradition, one that would be remembered and discussed for generations to come. The weight of history seemed to settle on their shoulders, but it was a weight they were prepared to carry with dignity and grace. William took a moment to look around the breakfast table at his family, feeling a profound sense of gratitude for the life they had built together. Despite the constant public attention and the demands of royal duty, they had managed to create a loving home environment where their children could grow up with both an understanding of their unique position in the world and an appreciation for the simple joys of family life. The final preparations were now underway, with palace staff making last-minute adjustments to ensure everything would proceed smoothly. The vehicles that would transport the family to Westminster Abbey gleamed in the morning sunlight, their polished surfaces reflecting the careful attention to detail that characterized every aspect of royal protocol. Soon, they would step out into the public eye and take their place in a ceremony that would mark a new chapter in the long history of the British monarchy. The journey ahead would be relatively short in terms of distance, but monumentally significant in terms of its impact on their lives and the future of the institution they represented. The palace doors opened with ceremonial precision as the Wales family stepped into the crisp morning air. Kate emerged first, her elegant form silhouetted against the grand entrance of their residence. The carefully chosen ensemble she wore seemed to capture the essence of modern royalty, while paying homage to traditional British style. Her hair had been styled in a way that would photograph beautifully from every angle, and her jewelry choices reflected both personal taste and royal protocol. William followed closely behind, his military uniform commanding immediate respect and attention. The morning light highlighted the intricate details of his ceremonial dress, each element carefully positioned according to centuries-old traditions. His bearing was confident yet humble, embodying the qualities that had endeared him to the British public throughout his adult life. The responsibility he felt as both a father and a future king was evident in his composed demeanor. Prince George walked beside his parents with remarkable poise for someone his age. The young prince had been coached extensively on proper protocol for such occasions, but his natural intelligence and maturity made the formal requirements seem effortless. His outfit had been selected to reflect his growing role within the royal family while still allowing him to appear as the child he remained at heart. Princess Charlotte practically glowed with excitement as she took in the scene around her. The young princess had always shown a natural flair for public appearances, seeming to genuinely enjoy the interaction with crowds and the ceremonial aspects of royal life. Her bright smile and confident wave to the gathered photographers captured the hearts of everyone present, creating moments that would be treasured in royal archives for decades to come. Prince Louis, held securely by his father's protective hand, looked around with wide-eyed wonder at the spectacle unfolding around him. The youngest member of the family was still learning to navigate the unique world he had been born into, but his natural charm and infectious personality had already made him a favorite among royal watchers. His parents remained vigilant to ensure his comfort throughout what would be a very long day. The convoy of vehicles waiting for them represented the perfect blend of tradition and modern security requirements. The lead car, a magnificent state vehicle that had been used for royal occasions for many years, gleamed under the careful attention of the palace maintenance staff. Its interior had been prepared with every comfort and convenience the family might need during their journey through the streets of London. As they approached their designated vehicle, members of the Royal Protection Team took their positions with practiced efficiency. These highly trained individuals had spent months preparing for this specific event, studying every possible scenario and developing contingency plans for any situation that might arise. Their presence was both reassuring and nearly invisible, allowing the family to focus on the ceremonial aspects of their journey. The crowds lining the palace gates erupted in cheers as the family appeared, their enthusiasm palpable even from a distance. Union Jack flags waved frantically in the air while camera phones captured every moment of the royal emergence. The sound of the crowd seemed to energize the children, who responded with natural waves and smiles that delighted the gathered spectators. Kate paused for a brief moment to ensure that each of her children was comfortable and ready for the journey ahead. Her maternal instincts remained sharp even in the midst of such formal proceedings, and she made subtle adjustments to clothing and positioning that would make the upcoming ride more pleasant for everyone involved. Her ability to balance the demands of royal protocol with the needs of her family had become one of her most admired qualities. William took one last look at the palace facade, knowing that when they returned later that day, the world would be slightly different than it was at this moment. The ceremony they were about to attend would mark a significant transition in their lives and in the history of the monarchy itself. The gravity of the moment was not lost on him, but neither was the joy of sharing such an important experience with his beloved family. The final checks were completed by security personnel and palace staff, ensuring that every detail had been attended to properly. Communication devices crackled with quiet confirmations as the various teams responsible for different aspects of the procession reported their readiness. The coordination required for such an event was truly remarkable, involving dozens of individuals working together seamlessly to create what would appear to the public as an effortless royal appearance. The moment had arrived for them to take their seats in the waiting vehicle and begin their historic journey through the heart of London to Westminster Abbey. The anticipation that had been building throughout the morning was about to transform into the reality of participating in one of the most significant ceremonies in recent royal history. The royal vehicle purred to life with a smooth, nearly silent engine that spoke to the precision engineering and meticulous maintenance it received. As the convoy began to move, the family settled into their seats with a mixture of excitement and solemnity that perfectly captured the dual nature of the occasion. The interior of their car provided both comfort and an excellent view of the historic route they would travel, allowing them to wave to the thousands of well-wishers who had gathered along the streets. William positioned himself strategically to have the best view of both his family and the crowds outside, his protective instincts as a father perfectly complementing his role as a senior member of the royal family. He pointed out various landmarks to his children as they passed, turning the journey into an impromptu history lesson that would help them understand the significance of the buildings and monuments that formed the backdrop of their unique lives. Kate maintained her characteristic grace and composure while simultaneously keeping a watchful eye on the children's comfort and behavior. Her ability to multitask in such situations had been refined through years of public appearances, and she seemed to effortlessly balance the demands of royal protocol with her natural maternal instincts. Her warm smile and genuine waves to the crowds created countless moments of connection with the people lining their route. The streets of London had been transformed into a sea of red, white and blue as thousands of Union Jack flags fluttered in the morning breeze. The crowd's enthusiasm was infectious, with people of all ages cheering and calling out good wishes to the royal family as their convoy passed by. Children perched on their parents' shoulders waved tiny flags while elderly spectators dabbed at their eyes with handkerchiefs, moved by the historical significance of the moment they were witnessing. Prince George pressed his face to the window, fascinated by the sheer number of people who had gathered to watch their journey. His young mind was clearly processing the magnitude of the event and his own role within it. The prince asked thoughtful questions about the ceremony they were heading to, demonstrating the intelligence and curiosity that would serve him well in his future role as a leader of the British monarchy. Princess Charlotte delighted in waving to the children she spotted in the crowd, her natural warmth and charisma evident in every gesture. The young princess seemed to instinctively understand how to connect with people, a quality that royal observers noted would be invaluable as she grew into her role within the royal family. Her genuine joy at seeing the celebration around her brought smiles to the faces of everyone who caught sight of her through the car windows. Prince Louis, still young enough to be amazed by the spectacle around him, bounced excitedly in his seat as he took in the sights and sounds of the procession. His parents worked together to keep him engaged and comfortable, knowing that the day ahead would test the patience and endurance of even the most well-behaved child his age. Their teamwork in managing family dynamics, while fulfilling royal duties, was a testament to their strong partnership. The route to Westminster Abbey had been planned to showcase some of London's most iconic locations, providing the international television audience with stunning visuals of British heritage and culture. As they passed famous landmarks, William shared stories about their historical significance, helping his children understand that they were not just participants in this ceremony but also inheritors of a legacy that stretched back through centuries of British history. Security motorcycles flanked their convoy, their riders maintaining perfect formation while remaining alert for any potential issues along the route. The coordination between different security agencies was seamless, with each team knowing their specific role in ensuring the safety of the royal family. Their presence was noticeable but not overwhelming, striking the perfect balance between protection and accessibility that characterized modern royal security protocols. The sound of church bells could be heard in the distance, growing stronger as they approached Westminster Abbey. These ancient bells had rung for countless royal ceremonies throughout history, and their familiar chimes seemed to add a sense of continuity and tradition to the morning's events. The children listened to the bells with fascination, understanding that they were hearing sounds that had welcomed royalty for generations before them. Crowds grew denser as they neared their destination, with people pressed against barriers maintained by police officers and security personnel. The excitement was palpable, with some spectators having waited for hours just to catch a glimpse of the royal family during their brief passage. The dedication of these royal supporters was not lost on William and Kate, who made sure to acknowledge as many people as possible with waves and smiles. Television helicopters circled overhead, providing aerial coverage of the procession for viewers around the world. The royal family was aware of the global audience watching their journey, but they remained focused on the immediate experience of sharing this historic moment together as a family. Their ability to stay grounded and authentic despite the enormous attention focused on them was one of the qualities that had made them so popular with the British public and international observers alike. As Westminster Abbey came into view, its ancient Gothic spires reaching majestically toward the cloudy London sky, The family felt a collective sense of awe at the historical weight of the moment. The Abbey had witnessed nearly 1,000 years of British history, serving as the coronation site for monarchs since William the Conqueror in 1066. Today, it would add another chapter to its remarkable story, welcoming a new generation of royals to participate in ceremonies that connected the present day to centuries of tradition and pageantry. The convoy slowed as they approached the designated arrival area, where hundreds of international dignitaries, government officials, and members of the aristocracy had already gathered. Representatives from Commonwealth nations stood alongside European royalty, creating a truly global assembly that reflected the modern British monarchy's role on the world stage. The sight of so many distinguished guests reminded the family that this ceremony would have implications far beyond the borders of the United Kingdom. Kate took a deep breath as she prepared to step out of the vehicle, knowing that millions of people around the world would be watching her every move. Her years of experience in the public eye had taught her how to maintain perfect composure, while simultaneously radiating warmth and accessibility. The elegant ensemble she wore had been chosen not just for its beauty, but for its ability to photograph well under the bright lights and flashing cameras that would document every moment of their arrival. William felt the familiar surge of pride and responsibility that always accompanied major royal events. As the future king, he understood that his behavior and demeanor during such occasions would be analyzed and remembered for years to come. The military uniform he wore connected him to generations of royal men who had served their country with honor, and he was determined to uphold the dignity of that tradition while also bringing his own authentic personality to the role. Prince George straightened his shoulders and took on the serious expression that had become his signature look during formal events. Despite his young age, the prince had developed an impressive ability to understand when the situation required his best behavior, and he seemed to genuinely take pride in representing his family well during public appearances. His natural intelligence and observational skills helped him navigate the complex protocols that governed royal life with remarkable ease. Princess Charlotte practically vibrated with excitement as she spotted the Abbey's impressive facade and the crowds of elegantly dressed guests waiting nearby. The young princess had always shown a natural affinity for ceremonial occasions, seeming to thrive on the energy and grandeur that surrounded such events. Her bright smile and confident bearing made her a favorite among photographers and royal watchers, who appreciated her ability to bring joy and spontaneity to even the most formal situations. Prince Louis, now more aware of the significance of their destination, began to show signs of the restless energy that was natural for a child his age facing a long ceremony. His parents exchanged knowing glances, mentally preparing themselves for the challenge of keeping him engaged and comfortable throughout what would undoubtedly be several hours of sitting still and observing complex rituals. Their experience as parents had taught them various strategies for managing such situations while maintaining royal protocol. The Abbey's bells were now ringing with full force, their ancient bronze voices creating a musical welcome that seemed to resonate through the very stones of London's historic buildings. The sound was both thrilling and humbling, reminding everyone present that they were participating in traditions that had survived wars, political upheavals, and social transformations, while continuing to unite the British people around shared symbols and ceremonies. Security personnel made final adjustments to their positions as the royal convoy came to a complete stop. The coordination required for such an event was truly impressive, with teams of experts working together to ensure that every aspect of the arrival would proceed smoothly and safely. Their professionalism was evident in the seamless way they managed the complex logistics of bringing together so many important people in one place while maintaining the highest levels of security. Members of the press who had been granted special access to the arrival area prepared their equipment for the crucial moments ahead. Photographers adjusted their lenses and checked their settings, knowing that the images they captured would become part of the historical record of this significant day. Television crews made final sound checks and camera adjustments, ensuring that viewers around the world would have the best possible coverage of the royal family's entrance. The atmosphere outside the Abbey was electric with anticipation as guests and spectators alike recognized that the moment they had been waiting for was finally at hand. Conversations quieted to respectful whispers as people prepared to witness what would undoubtedly be one of the most memorable royal arrivals in recent history. The combination of ancient tradition and modern ceremony created an atmosphere that was both timeless and thoroughly contemporary. Inside their vehicle, the Wales family shared a final moment of quiet togetherness before stepping out into the bright lights and intense scrutiny that awaited them. William reached over to squeeze Kate's hand, a simple gesture that spoke to the strong partnership that had carried them through years of public service and personal challenges. Together they were ready to face whatever lay ahead, confident in their ability to represent their family and their country with dignity and grace. The moment arrived with ceremonial precision as uniformed attendants approached the royal vehicle, their movements coordinated to the second, according to protocols that had been rehearsed countless times. The door opened smoothly, and William emerged first, his military bearing commanding immediate attention from the assembled crowd and media representatives. His appearance was met with a respectful hush that quickly gave way to excited murmurs as people recognized the historic significance of witnessing the future king's arrival. At such an important ceremony, Kate followed gracefully, her elegant form emerging from the vehicle with the poise and confidence that had made her one of the most photographed women in the world. The sunlight caught the subtle details of her outfit, highlighting the careful craftsmanship and attention to detail that had gone into creating an ensemble worthy of such a momentous occasion. Her warm smile and natural grace immediately connected with the watching crowd, creating an atmosphere of warmth and celebration despite the formal nature of the event. The children followed their parents with varying degrees of enthusiasm and composure. Prince George stepped out with serious determination, clearly understanding the importance of the moment and his role in representing the younger generation of the royal family. His mature demeanor impressed observers who noted how much he had grown and developed since his last major public appearance, demonstrating the natural leadership qualities that would serve him well in his future role. Princess Charlotte practically bounced with excitement as she emerged into the bright morning air, her natural charisma immediately apparent to everyone present. The young princess seemed to thrive in the spotlight, waving enthusiastically to the photographers and guests who had gathered to witness their arrival. Her genuine joy and spontaneous gestures brought smiles to faces throughout the crowd, adding a touch of youthful energy to the solemn grandeur of the occasion. Prince Louis required a bit more assistance from his parents as he navigated the formal protocols of stepping out of the vehicle in front of such a distinguished audience. The youngest member of the family was still learning to balance his natural childhood energy with the requirements of royal behavior, but his charming personality and infectious smile won over everyone who caught sight of him. His parents remained close by, ready to provide guidance and support as needed. The Abbey's impressive facade provided a stunning backdrop as the family gathered together for the photographers and television cameras that would document their arrival for posterity. Westminster Abbey had witnessed centuries of royal ceremonies, and its ancient stones seemed to welcome this new generation of royals with the same dignity and gravitas that had marked previous historic occasions. The building itself appeared to be participating in the ceremony, its Gothic architecture creating a perfect frame for the modern royal family. Distinguished guests who had already arrived watched with interest as the Wales family made their way toward the Abbey entrance. Representatives from around the world, including heads of state, nobility, and religious leaders, formed an impressive assembly that reflected the global significance of the ceremony they had come to witness. Their respectful attention demonstrated the international esteem in which the British royal family was held. Security personnel maintained their vigilant watch while remaining as unobtrusive as possible, allowing the family to move naturally and interact with the assembled crowd. Their professional expertise was evident. In the seamless way they managed the complex security requirements of such a high-profile event while ensuring that the ceremonial aspects of the arrival could proceed without interference. The balance they achieved between safety and accessibility was a testament to their careful planning and execution. The morning light created perfect conditions for the photographers and television crews who were documenting every moment of the royal arrival. The natural lighting highlighted the rich colors and intricate details of the family's ceremonial attire, while also capturing the genuine emotions and interactions that made the formal occasion feel personal and relatable. These images would become part of the permanent historical record of this significant day. William took a moment to survey the scene around him, feeling a deep sense of connection to the long line of royal ancestors who had walked these same steps and participated in similar ceremonies throughout British history. The weight of tradition was palpable, but rather than feeling overwhelming, it provided a sense of continuity and purpose that reinforced his commitment to serving his country and upholding the values that the monarchy represented. Kate's natural warmth and genuine interest in the people around her was evident as she acknowledged the various guests and officials who had gathered for the ceremony. Her ability to make personal connections even in the most formal situations had become one of her most admired qualities, and she seemed to genuinely enjoy meeting new people and learning about their backgrounds and roles in the day's proceedings. The children stayed close to their parents while also beginning to show their individual personalities and interests in the unfolding spectacle around them. Each of them processed the experience differently, but all three seemed to understand that they were participating in something truly special and historically significant. Their natural curiosity and enthusiasm added a human dimension to the formal proceedings that resonated with observers both present and watching from around the world. As they prepared to enter the abbey itself, the family shared a final moment together outside the historic building, their unified presence symbolizing the continuity and stability that the royal family represented to millions of people both in Britain and throughout the Commonwealth nations that looked to them for leadership and inspiration. The massive wooden doors of Westminster Abbey stood open like welcoming arms, revealing glimpses of the magnificent interior that had been prepared for the coronation ceremony. Centuries of history seemed to emanate from within the sacred space, where kings and queens had been crowned, married, and laid to rest for nearly 1,000 years. The family paused at the threshold, each of them feeling the profound significance of stepping into a building that served as the spiritual heart of the British monarchy and the repository of so many pivotal moments in their nation's history. William felt a deep sense of reverence as he prepared to enter the abbey, where his own parents had been married and where he himself had exchanged vows with Catherine in a ceremony watched by billions around the world. The stone walls held memories of triumph and sorrow, celebration and solemnity, all woven together into the rich tapestry of British royal tradition. His military uniform seemed particularly appropriate in this setting, connecting him to the long line of royal men who had served their country in both ceremonial and military capacities. Kate took a moment to ensure that each of her children was ready for what lay ahead, making small adjustments to their clothing and offering quiet words of encouragement that only they could hear. Her maternal instincts remained sharp even in the midst of such grandeur, and she understood that keeping her family comfortable and confident would be essential for their successful participation in the lengthy ceremony ahead. Her own elegant appearance had been carefully planned to complement the solemnity of the occasion while maintaining her distinctive personal style. The interior of the abbey revealed itself gradually as they moved forward, each step unveiling new wonders of architecture and decoration that had been enhanced specifically for this coronation. Magnificent tapestries hung from ancient pillars, their rich colors and intricate designs adding warmth and splendor to the Gothic stonework. The lighting had been carefully arranged to highlight both the historical features of the building and the ceremonial elements that would play important roles in the day's proceedings. Prince George walked with measured steps, his young face reflecting the awe he felt at being inside such a magnificent and historically significant building. The prince had studied British history extensively as part of his education, and being able to experience firsthand the place where so many important events had taken place clearly made a deep impression on him. His serious demeanor showed his understanding that he was not just a spectator but a participant in continuing the royal traditions that stretched back through centuries. Princess Charlotte's eyes sparkled with wonder as she took in the incredible sights around her, from the soaring arched ceilings to the elaborate decorations that adorned every surface. The young princess had always shown an appreciation for beauty and craftsmanship, and the abbey provided an overwhelming feast for her artistic sensibilities. Her natural enthusiasm was tempered by an understanding of the solemnity of the occasion, creating a perfect balance between joy and reverence. Prince Louis held tightly to his father's hand as they navigated the abbey's impressive interior, his young eyes wide with amazement at the scale and grandeur surrounding him. The youngest member of the family was clearly processing the sensory overload of sights, sounds, and smells that filled the ancient building, but his natural resilience and curiosity helped him adapt to the extraordinary environment he found himself in. The sound of their footsteps echoed through the vast space, joining with the whispered conversations of the distinguished guests who were already seated, and the subtle sounds of final preparations being made by ceremony officials. The acoustic properties of the abbey seemed to amplify every sound, creating an atmosphere of heightened awareness and anticipation that affected everyone present. Even the youngest children seemed to sense that they were in a place where normal rules of behavior and volume were particularly important. Ushers, dressed in ceremonial attire, guided the family toward their designated positions, their movements precise and respectful, as they helped ensure that every aspect of the arrival proceeded according to the detailed protocols that had been established for the ceremony. These individuals had trained extensively for their roles in the coronation, understanding that their professional competence would contribute to the overall success and dignity of the historic event. The abbey's famous Cosmati pavement, a masterpiece of medieval craftsmanship, stretched out before them as they moved toward the altar area where the main ceremony would take place. This ancient mosaic floor had supported the feet of countless monarchs and nobles throughout British history, and walking across it created a tangible connection to the past that few people ever had the opportunity to experience. The intricate geometric patterns seemed to guide their steps toward their ultimate destination. Distinguished guests rose respectfully as the royal family passed by their pews, creating a living corridor of honor that acknowledged their important role in the day's proceedings. Representatives from around the world, including heads of state, religious leaders, and members of the international nobility, demonstrated their respect through this simple but meaningful gesture. The family acknowledged these courtesies with gracious nods and smiles, maintaining the diplomatic grace that was essential to their public roles. Camera crews positioned throughout the abbey captured every moment of their procession, ensuring that the historic arrival would be preserved for future generations and shared with the millions of viewers watching from around the world. The photographers and videographers worked with practiced discretion, documenting the ceremony while remaining virtually invisible to avoid disrupting the sacred nature of the proceedings. As they approached their designated seats, the family could see the full scope of the magnificent ceremony that had been prepared in their honor. The altar area had been transformed into a setting worthy of the most important royal occasions, with flowers, ceremonial objects, and religious symbols arranged according to traditions that dated back centuries. The sight was both humbling and inspiring, reminding them of the sacred nature of the commitments and responsibilities that came with their royal status. The Wales family reached their designated places within the abbey with a sense of completion and readiness that reflected both their careful preparation and their natural ability to rise to significant occasions. The positioning had been planned to provide them with clear views of the ceremony, while also allowing them to be seen by the television cameras that would broadcast the historic event to audiences around the globe. Their arrival marked the culmination of months of planning and preparation, bringing together tradition, protocol, and personal significance in a way that honored both the past and the future of the British monarchy. William settled into his place with the quiet confidence that had become his trademark during public appearances, his military bearing and natural dignity, creating an aura of respect and authority that impressed everyone who observed him. The future king understood that his behavior during this ceremony would be remembered and analyzed for years to come, and he was determined to conduct himself in a way that would honor his family, his country, and the institution he would one day lead. His presence provided stability and continuity that reassured both those present in the abbey and the millions watching from afar. Kate took her place with the grace and poise that had made her one of the most admired royal figures in the world. Her elegant appearance and warm demeanor creating a perfect balance between formality and accessibility. The princess had developed an remarkable ability to appear completely comfortable in even the most formal situations while never losing the genuine warmth and humanity that had endeared her to people from all walks of life. Her role as both a senior royal and a devoted mother was evident in the way she continued to monitor her children's comfort and behavior even as she fulfilled her ceremonial obligations. The children arranged themselves according to the careful choreography that had been planned for their participation, each of them demonstrating remarkable maturity and understanding of the importance of the moment they were experiencing. Prince George sat with impressive composure, his young face reflecting both the seriousness of the occasion and his growing understanding of his future role within the royal family. His ability to balance childhood, naturalness with royal protocol had impressed observers and suggested that he was developing the qualities that would serve him well as a future monarch. Princess Charlotte brought her characteristic enthusiasm and joy to the proceedings, her bright presence adding a touch of youthful energy to the solemn grandeur of the coronation ceremony. The young princess seemed to thrive in formal settings, displaying a natural understanding of how to behave appropriately while still allowing her personality to shine through. Her genuine smiles and careful attention to the ceremony around her demonstrated both good breeding and an innate appreciation for the traditions she was inheriting. Prince Louis, despite his young age, managed to settle into his place with remarkable patience, supported by his parents' careful attention and the engaging nature of the spectacular ceremony unfolding around him. The youngest member of the family continued to look around with wide-eyed wonder, clearly fascinated by the magnificent surroundings and the formal proceedings that he was witnessing. His natural charm and innocent curiosity added a humanizing element to the grand formality of the occasion. The abbey itself seemed to embrace the royal family as they took their places, the ancient building providing a magnificent backdrop that connected this modern ceremony to centuries of British royal tradition. The Gothic architecture, the stained glass windows filtering colored light throughout the space, and the elaborate decorations created an atmosphere of sacred majesty that elevated everyone present and reminded them of the spiritual dimensions of royal service and commitment. Around them, the assembled guests represented a remarkable cross-section of international leadership in British society, their presence testifying to the global significance of the ceremony and the continuing relevance of the British monarchy in the modern world. Heads of state, religious leaders, members of the aristocracy, and representatives of various organizations and charities had gathered to witness this historic occasion, creating a living testament to the connections and relationships that the royal family maintained throughout the world. The moment of their successful arrival and positioning marked not just the end of their journey from Kensington Palace, but the beginning of their participation in a ceremony that would be remembered as one of the most significant royal events of their generation. The careful planning, the attention to protocol, and the genuine family warmth they had displayed throughout their arrival had set the perfect tone for the historic proceedings that were about to unfold. As the final preparations were completed and the ceremony began in earnest, the Wales family found themselves perfectly positioned to witness and participate in an event that would mark a new chapter in the long story of the British monarchy. Their successful arrival and graceful positioning within Westminster Abbey had demonstrated once again their ability to blend personal authenticity with royal dignity, creating moments of genuine human connection within the grand framework of ancient tradition and ceremony. The sight of the family seated together in their places of honor, representing both the present strength and future promise of the royal institution, provided a fitting conclusion to their remarkable journey from palace to abbey, and served as a beautiful beginning to the historic ceremony that would follow.